Alright, hey guys, and welcome to the second episode of the Nothing podcast. If you watched the first episode, which I doubt you did because it got 10 views and 9 of them were from me, um, but if you did happen to watch the first episode, you would notice that my voice is a little bit different. And the reason for that is I'm gonna keep switching um, my voice and working with the voice changer in each episode because I thought it would be something fun to do. Anyways, um, it is currently the 10th of May, and I mentioned in the first episode that I had my history exam on the 10th of May. Now, I had the exam. It was okay. I did not study as much as I maybe should have, but I've never been one to study like excessively or honestly at all. I don't want to say at all because I do most of it like eventually, but by eventually I mean the night before or the day before. So on the 9th of May, I spent about 9 hours doing both economics and history because they were for some reason on the same day. Talk to the British Council about that. I don't know why they do that, but I had two exams on the same day and I hadn't studied for either. So I spent about 10 to 12 hours completing both of the syllabi. Is that what the plural of syllabus is? I hope it is. Otherwise, I just sound stupid, but I sound stupid anyways. Right, so I had both my exams. I don't really care much for econ as a subject, and so I don't care how well I do in it. But I do care about history, and I hope I did well, because if I didn't, that would be very disappointing. Um, After my exams, I took a 3 hour nap, and I'm still not fully refreshed, but it is nighttime, so I'll probably sleep soon. But after I woke up, I went to. Where'd I go? I went out with my friends, and this is something I do want to talk about because I lied to my mother about where I was and who I was going with. And I feel like that's a very common lie that teenagers tell to their parents. But I've just started doing it and I feel very guilty. And that's something I want to get off my chest. Basically, I first went out with my best friend and we got food and. Well, we didn't even get food, we got like ice cream. And then we went to the store. And then on the way home, I get a text from my other friend, and he says, let's go out for dinner. So I say, okay, but this is where the lie began because I was being dropped home by my first friend, and I knew that if I go home and then say I'm going out again, that wouldn't really like fly with my mom. So I said to my friend, can we just go to your place and then I'll get picked up from there, because her place is really nearby. So then I went to her place with her and I stayed there for about 20 minutes and then I got picked up. And what I told my mom was that, oh, I'm actually having dinner at my first friend's house, so I'll be home in an hour and a half. And that's what I told her, when in reality I was actually going out to dinner with my friend. And now the reason I lied is because, first of all, the second friend was a male friend, which again, he's like just a friend, and I cannot even think of him in any other manner, but my mom doesn't know that, you know? So, and like, she probably wouldn't believe me, I think. So it's an awkward conversation to have, to tell her that, oh, I'm going out with so and so, and it it was like 9 p.m., and that's like kind of, it's a little bit late, you know. So I didn't want to tell her because it would just be weird, and she, God knows what she'd think, even though it was perfectly innocent, you know. So that's why I lied to her, and then yeah, I don't know how I feel. I don't feel very good about it, but I also prefer it over what the conversation could have been. But again, I feel like this is something that teenagers very commonly lie about, you know, either to go out with their boyfriends or girlfriends, or to like hang out with their friends of the opposite gender. Because at least, again, I live in South Asia, so the culture is very different from the West or like anywhere else in the world. We're a little bit conservative, if you didn't know that already. So just, I mean, my mom isn't very conservative, but it's still just awkward. You know, I don't want to put myself in that position, and I don't want to put her in that position, and so I lied, but I feel really guilty. And but I again, I don't think I'm gonna necessarily stop because I don't know when I'll be comfortable with like just telling her. I'm like 17 years old, so I'm not old enough to be as independent as I would like to be. But yeah, I do you guys do that if anyone is listening again, which I doubt on account of I was all the views on my last podcast. Yeah. Anyways, is it okay? Is it, I know it's not okay, but is it normal? Is it justified? I don't know. If you're listening, just let me know, because I would like to feel a little bit validated. Um but yeah, also about my independence, I I feel like I raised myself more than my parents raised me. And I'll tell you why. I'm actually the youngest of three siblings. I have a brother and a sister. So I'm the youngest, and the age gap between my eldest brother is quite significant. It's about like 7.5 years. So yeah, my mom, she had the first kid when she was fairly young, and then I was born when she was in her mid 30s. And so I feel like she got pretty tired with the first two, and by the time I was born, she was just too tired to take care of a third kid, which I understand, but also, like, it would have been nice, I guess, to have a parent. I, I mean, I think I'm over exaggerating. Like, she did raise me, but I also, if you get what I mean, that would be great. But just to put it in words, I know that people usually say that the youngest one is the most spoiled and the most pampered, and to some extent that's true, because I mean, you are the youngest, you know, you're their baby. But um but yeah, it also just means that your parents get increasingly sick of raising children, and they get older and more tired, and so there's some things that you have to be more independent in than your siblings were. like like for example, my eldest brother was, he got help with like homework and stuff, and so did my middle sister. She I don't know why I'm saying eldest brother and middle sister when I only have one brother and one sister, but both of them got help with like homework and school projects and all of that. But I never got any help beyond the age of like 5 with any of my homework or like any projects that I had. Like, yeah, I never got any help with that. I'm not salty about it. I think some independence or like making children do what they're meant to do themselves is helpful, but if your child is asking you to help them, then you should help them, which my mom did not do. But it's okay, I think I turned out I well, in terms of school I turned out fine. I turned out great in terms of school, but um yeah, a little bit it's a little bit unfair, but there's also the fact that each child is different, so like your parenting styles have to be different for each child, and that's something that isn't children tend to complain that they get treated differently than their siblings, like I am complaining right now, but the reality is that every child is different, and so parents have to adopt different parenting styles to cater to each of their children. And that's just the way it is. And that's why when you're a kid, you say things like, "Oh, I'm never gonna treat my kids this way. I'm gonna treat them all equally." But then when you actually become a parent, you see that, oh, I am actually treating them differently because they're not the same person, and I have to then treat them differently. So yeah, those are my thoughts on lying to your parents and parenting in general. But yeah, I felt like ranting a little bit. I'm sorry if it was kind of like stupid or didn't make any sense. It makes sense to me, but I understand if it didn't make sense to you. What else? What else? Oh yeah. I also wanted to talk about music because I feel like I have a very basic taste in music, in the sense that I only listen to pop music. I listen to very little of, at least in like English, I listen to very little of like rap and jazz, and I don't even know all the genres honestly, but I listen to just basic pop songs that blow up, and I quite enjoy them, so I don't have much of a music taste. But one artist I got really into again is Lord. Um, I absolutely love so many of her songs, and I don't know. I I don't know. I think they're awesome, and some of them resonate with me. I'm not gonna say which because it's just kind of depressing, but I love Lord, and I think she's a great artist, and I hope she releases more music soon. But aside from English, I also listen to a lot of music in my native language. Um, I native and like languages that are spoken throughout the subcontinent. So like Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, and Tamil also. I've heard like a few South Indian songs. They're quite fun. I think half of the South Indian song experience is 90% of it is watching the music video because they're such good dancers and they're like so creative with all their moves. I love it. I love it. I think it's awesome. But my favorite language of the subcontinent is by far Punjabi because I feel like it's so expressive and it just hits the spot, it gets you in a groove and it's awesome. I love Punjabi. I wish I knew Punjabi. I wish I was like fluent in Punjabi, but alas, I am not. Aside from that, one genre that I really like it's actually like, I don't know what, I don't think it's a genre. It's just like a, anyways, they're called ghazals, and they're awesome. They're so relaxing and peaceful, and one of my favorite, um what do you call them, ghazal singers, performers, I don't know, is Farida Khanum. I think i think she has the most soothing and lovely and like raw vocals that, just strike you right in the heart. And you feel her music and you feel her voice, and it's awesome. So yeah, I think I'm more passionate about like subcontinental music and languages than I am about English music. I also don't, like, for English, I don't listen to new songs, like new releases. I have no interest in that. If I ever hear the song on like the radio or with my friends, or if I just happen to hear the song somewhere and I like it, I add it to my playlist. I don't actively like seek out new music. And I also don't have like a lot of interest in the background behind the music. Like, I have no idea. I have absolutely no clue what's going on between Kendrick and Drake. I have no idea why it started. I have no idea. I have some idea what's being said since it's like all over social media, but I don't know what is happening. Me personally, not knowing anything about this whole thing makes me think that it's a publicity stunt. But dude, I have no idea like what is going on. I cannot be bothered. Apparently there's been like 14 billion diss tracks. I cannot be bothered to listen to even one of them. I'm sure there's, what do you call them? You guys call them bars. I'm sure there's bars, but dude, I that's a lot of time to spend on like keeping up with rappers, man. Just listen to your music, enjoy your music, and get it over with. Why do you have to? Apparently Drake's house got broken into, and like there was also in a separate incident like a shooting outside his house. What is going on? Why is this happening? What, like, is everyone safe? Dude, can someone please explain? I am clueless. I do not want to waste like an hour listening to all 900 of the diss tracks. I would much rather read like a comment just summarizing the whole thing. Someone please explain. Please. um Anyways, I think that's enough for today. I think that's a good note to end on. And yeah, Kendrick and Drake, whatever the hell's going on with them, I hope it I hope it stops or continues if that's what you guys want. But I'm done. I'm done. Bye.